Captain Taiho stood on the bridge of his ship and looked at the small blue planet below. Earth, they called it. The third world from a yellow star in a quiet corner of the galaxy. Nothing special, really. Just another planet with another species trying to make their way among the stars. Taiho was Vorekan. His people had ruled 300 star systems for 2,000 years. They were strong, smart, and powerful. No other species in the galaxy could match them in battle. No other species had better technology. No other species deserved to be called the best. The Vorekans had proven this again and again. His ship was here on a simple mission. Meet the humans. Learn about them. Figure out where they belonged in the galactic order. Every species had a rank. The strong ones at the top, the weak ones at the bottom. And it was natural. It was right. It was how the galaxy worked. "Captain," said Nari, his second officer. She was looking at her screen with interest. Nari was a scientist who studied alien life. She had read all the reports about humans before they arrived. "The preliminary data is complete. Humans are quite ordinary," Taiho nodded. He had read the same reports. Humans had no natural armor like the Crescians. They were not as strong as the Boltar. Their senses were weak compared to the Mindari. They lived for barely 100 years, which was nothing. Most advanced species lived for 300 or 400 years at least. "What rank do you think they deserve?" Taiho asked. Nari thought for a moment. "Lower third, perhaps. They have developed space travel, which shows some intelligence, but they have no advantages. No special abilities. They are simply average in every way." Taiho agreed. It seemed fair. The humans would be disappointed, probably. Most new species wanted to be ranked higher. But facts were facts. The Vorekans did not lie about such things. A message came through on the communication system. "Vorekan vessel. This is Earth Orbital Station Alpha. Commander Hyun is ready to meet with you. Please dock at Port 7. Taiho guided his ship to the docking port. The station was simple but functional. Human design was practical, he noticed. Not beautiful like Vorekan stations, but it worked. That was something, at least. Commander Hyun was waiting for them in the meeting room. He was tall for a human with dark hair and calm eyes. He wore a military uniform that was clean and proper. When Taiho and Nari entered, Hyun smiled and bowed slightly. "Welcome to our system," Hyun said. His voice was warm. "We are honored to meet the Vorekans. Your people are legendary across the galaxy." Taiho returned the bow. "Thank you, Commander. We are pleased to meet humanity. Your species has achieved space travel remarkably quickly." They sat at a table. Hyun offered them drinks. Taiho accepted water. It was safe for Vorekans to drink. "We understand you are here to evaluate us," Hyun said. He did not seem nervous or worried. "To determine our place among galactic civilizations." "That is correct," Taiho said. He decided to be direct. "Humans deserved honesty. Based on our initial assessment, humanity will likely be ranked in the lower third of advanced species. You have achieved much, but you lack the physical and technological advantages of higher-ranked civilizations." Taiho expected disappointment. Maybe anger. Maybe arguments. Instead, Hyun simply nodded and smiled again. That same calm smile. "I understand," Hyun said. "Would you like to observe our operations before you make your final report? See what humans actually do?" Taiho was surprised by the offer. Most species wanted to hide their weaknesses, but perhaps humans did not understand what they were revealing. That would be acceptable, he said. Over the next 3 days, Hyun showed them everything. They visited mining operations on a hostile moon where temperatures dropped to -200 degrees. Taiho watched human workers in environmental suits drilling into frozen rock. The conditions would kill most species within hours. Yet the humans worked in shifts, coming back again and again, never stopping. "Why do they do this?" Nari asked Hyun. "This moon is so dangerous. Why not use automated systems?" "We do use automation," Hyun explained. "But machines break down in these conditions. Humans can adapt. We can solve problems that machines cannot." They visited a research station near a gas giant. The radiation levels were high, dangerous. Yet human scientists worked there, studying the planet's atmosphere, taking risks that seemed unnecessary. They saw human rescue teams training for disaster situations. The training was brutal. Taiho watched as humans pushed themselves to exhaustion, then pushed further. When one team member fell behind, the others did not leave him. They slowed down. They helped. They all finished together. "Interesting," Nari said quietly to Taiho when they were alone. Humans seem to possess unusual mental resilience. Mental resilience means little in actual combat, Tejo replied. When facing a real threat, physical strength and advanced weapons matter more. But something about the humans bothered him. That confidence they all had. That calmness. It was not arrogance. It was something else. Something Tejo could not quite identify. On the fourth day, Hyun took them to meet some ordinary humans. Not soldiers or scientists. Just regular people. They met a teacher named Minho who worked with children. They met a doctor named Soo-jin who ran a hospital. They met an engineer named Yuna who designed spacecraft systems. Yuna was young and enthusiastic. She showed them the engine she was designing. It was not as advanced as Vorican engines, but it was clever, efficient. She had found ways to do more with less. You work hard, Nari observed. Of course, Yuna said, seeming confused by the comment. If we do not work hard, we do not improve. If we do not improve, we fall behind. That is unacceptable. Unacceptable to whom? Nari asked. To ourselves, Yuna said simply. That evening, Tejo prepared his preliminary report. He would recommend humanity for lower third ranking. They were capable but unremarkable. They worked hard, yes. They were determined, yes. But determination did not change reality. The galaxy was dangerous. Strength mattered. Power mattered. Hard work alone could not overcome natural limitations. He was about to send the report when alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. Red lights flashed. His communication system activated with an emergency signal. All vessels, this is Earth Defense Command, a voice announced. The voice was urgent but controlled. Long-range sensors have detected an unknown massive object entering the outer system. Classification pending. All ships are advised to prepare for possible evacuation protocols. Tejo felt his blood turn cold. He knew what this was before the confirmation came. He had seen the sensor readings before. Every Vorican had studied them, feared them. Nari looked at her personal scanner. Her face went pale. Captain, she whispered. The size. The energy signature. It matches a Titan, Tejo finished. His voice was hollow. Commander Hyun's face appeared on the screen. He looked serious now. The calm smile was gone. Captain Tejo, we would appreciate any information you have about this object. Our sensors show it is enormous and heading directly toward Earth. Tejo stood slowly. His hands were shaking. Commander, that is a Chromath Titan, a living creature the size of a small moon. It consumes planets. Entire planets. You must evacuate immediately. There is no other option. Hyun listened carefully. Then he said something that made no sense. Captain, we appreciate the warning, but Earth is our home. We will not abandon it. We will defend it. Tejo stared at the screen. The human could not be serious. No one defended against a Titan. No one survived a Titan. Even the mighty Vorican Empire had lost entire fleets trying. Commander, Tejo said carefully, you do not understand. A Titan cannot be stopped. It has never been stopped. Evacuation is your only chance. Hyun's expression did not change. Then I suppose we will be the first to stop one. The screen went dark. Tejo stood in silence, realizing that he had completely misunderstood these humans. They were not confident because they did not know danger. They were confident because they had already decided that danger did not matter. The next 48 hours changed everything Tejo thought he knew about humanity. The Titan was coming. Long-range sensors tracked it moving through the outer system, slow but unstoppable. It would reach Earth in 3 days. 3 days for billions of humans to realize they were about to die. Tejo expected panic. He expected chaos. When the Voricans had faced a Titan 200 years ago, there had been riots. People fighting for spots on evacuation ships, cities falling into disorder. That was natural. That was what happened when death approached. Earth did none of those things. Instead, Earth went to war. Within 6 hours of the Titan's detection, every military vessel in the system began moving. Cargo ships became weapon platforms. Mining vessels mounted railguns. Even small private shuttles reported to military command for orders. Tejo watched from his ship's sensors as humanity transformed their entire civilization into a weapon. This is madness, Nari whispered. She was monitoring human communications. They are not evacuating. Not even the children. They have nowhere to go. Taiho said quietly. Earth is their only developed world. They have colonies but nothing that could support billions. They cannot run. Then they should try to save who they can, Nari said. Send the children away. Send the important people. Something. But the humans did not do that either. Instead, they sent their best pilots toward the Titan. Their smartest scientists stayed on Earth to develop weapons. Their leaders remained at their posts. No one ran. Taiho contacted Commander Hyun directly. He had to try one more time to make the human understand. Commander, please. The Vorican Empire lost 17 warships and 2 colony worlds to Titans. Our weapons are more advanced than yours. Our ships are stronger, and we failed. You cannot win this fight, Hyun appeared on the screen. He looked tired. He had probably not slept since the Titan was detected. Captain Taiho, I understand what you were saying. I have read the reports about previous Titan encounters. Every species that faced one either ran or died. Then you understand? I understand that no one has ever tried hard enough. Hyun interrupted. His voice was calm but firm. Or maybe they did not have enough reason to try. But this is Earth, our home. Our families are here. Our history is here. Everything that makes us human is on this planet. We will not abandon it without a fight. A fight you cannot win, Taiho insisted. Maybe, Hyun said, but we will make it cost. We will make that creature bleed. And if we die knowing we stood and fought. That is worth something to us. The transmission ended. Taiho sat in silence. He could not comprehend this thinking. The Voricans valued survival above all else. Living to fight another day was wisdom. Dying in a hopeless battle was foolishness. But as he watched the humans prepare, he began to wonder if he truly understood what wisdom meant. Earth's orbital defense platforms activated. Massive railguns that could punch holes through asteroids. Nuclear missile batteries that could glass a continent. Laser arrays powerful enough to cut through starship hulls. All of it aimed outward toward the approaching darkness. On the ground, more weapons powered up. Taiho had not realized Earth had such armaments. The humans had been peaceful during their first contact. They had seemed friendly and open. Now he saw the teeth behind the smile. They have been preparing for war, Nari said with surprise. All this time they have been ready. Every species prepares for war, Taiho replied. But usually against other species, not against nature itself. Human scientists worked without stopping. Taiho intercepted some of their communications. They were desperate, creative, brilliant. One team was trying to develop a weapon using modified fusion bombs. Another was calculating the Titan's weak points based on old reports from other species. A third was working on something they called a core penetrator, though Taiho did not understand the details. One scientist stood out. His name was Doyen. He was young, barely 30 years old. But he spoke with authority that others respected. He was coordinating multiple research teams, combining their data, pushing them to work faster. We need something that can reach its core, Doyen said in one transmission. The outer armor is too strong. The defensive field regenerates too quickly. But everything has a heart. Everything has a center. If we can reach it, we can kill it. Taiho wanted to tell them it was impossible. The Titan's core was protected by layers of armor and energy fields. Even if they could reach it, the Titan would heal faster than they could damage it. But he said nothing. The humans would not listen anyway. On the second day, Taiho watched something that broke his heart. A group of human pilots held a ceremony. They were young, most of them. They knew they would probably die in the coming battle. So they gathered together, shared stories, laughed, and said goodbye to each other. One pilot, a woman named Bora, spoke to the group. We are not the strongest. We are not the fastest. We do not have the best ships or the best weapons. But we have something that matters more. We have each other. And we have a reason to fight that goes beyond ourselves. Remember that when things get hard. Remember who we are doing this for. The other pilots cheered. They actually cheered. Taiho could not understand it. They were celebrating their own deaths. Nari was crying. She tried to hide it, but Taiho saw the tears. They are so young, she said. So full of life. And they are going to throw it all away. They believe they are protecting something greater than themselves, Taiho said. He was beginning to understand, even if he did not agree. They believe their sacrifice has meaning. Does it? Nari asked. Does dying for nothing have meaning? Taiho did not answer. He did not know anymore. On the third day, Commander Hyun sent a message to all humans. Every screen on Earth showed his face. Every radio played his voice. Even the Vorakan ship received it. "People of Earth," Hyun began. "In a few hours we will face the greatest threat humanity has ever known. A creature that has destroyed worlds. A creature that has never been defeated. Many of you are afraid. That is natural. I am afraid too," he paused. His face was calm but honest. But fear does not make us weak. Fear reminds us what we are fighting for. Every person we love. Every dream we have built. Every hope for our future. All of it is here on this planet in this moment. Another pause. Taeho found himself leaning forward, listening carefully. "We may not win today. The odds are against us. History is against us. Logic is against us. But we have something that has carried humanity through every dark moment in our history. We have the ability to look at impossible odds and say no. We have the ability to stand when standing seems pointless. We have the ability to fight when fighting seems hopeless." Hyun's voice grew stronger. "Today we show the galaxy what humans are made of. Not the strongest species, not the smartest species, but the species that refuses to quit, the species that stands, the species that fights. Come what may, we will face it together. We will face it standing. And if we fall forward with our hands reaching toward tomorrow." The transmission ended. Across Earth, billions of humans returned to their tasks, preparing weapons, saying prayers, holding loved ones, waiting. Taeho ordered his ship to retreat to a safe distance. He would observe and record. That was all he could do. As his ship moved away from Earth, he looked back at the blue planet. So small, so fragile, so full of creatures who did not know when to quit. "They are either the bravest species in the galaxy," Nari said quietly, "or the most foolish." "Perhaps," Taeho said. "They are both." The Titan appeared on their sensors, a massive shape blocking out stars, death itself coming to feed, and tiny Earth preparing to punch it in the face. The Titan entered Earth's outer orbital range, and Taeho finally understood true terror. He had seen images before. Read reports, studied tactical data, but nothing prepared him for the reality of seeing a Titan with his own eyes. It was not just large. It was wrong. A creature that should not exist, could not exist, yet did anyway. 300 kilometers of living nightmare. Its body was covered in black chitinous armor that looked like metal but moved like flesh. Organic weapons grew from its surface like tumors. A defensive field surrounded it, warping space itself, making the stars behind it blur and twist. Smaller creatures swarmed around it, hundreds of them, each one the size of a human ship. "Captain," Nari's voice was shaking, "I am reading energy levels beyond anything in our database. This creature could destroy Earth with a single attack." Taeho nodded. He could not speak. His throat felt tight. Earth's fleet moved forward to meet it. Taeho counted 200 ships. Some were military vessels, sleek and armed. Others were converted civilian craft, awkward but determined. All of them looked like insects flying toward a mountain. "This is Commander Hyun to all vessels." The human's voice came through on open channels. "Remember your training. Trust your wingmates. Fight smart. Fight hard. And come home when you can." The fleet split into formations. Taeho watched from his safe distance as humanity implemented their battle plan. It was aggressive. Too aggressive. They were not trying to hold defensive positions. They were attacking. The Titan's drone creatures met them first. These smaller organisms were still massive, each one bristling with biological weapons. They spat acid that melted through armor. They fired bone spikes at impossible speeds. They moved with terrible grace like sharks in space. Human ships opened fire. Missiles streaked across the darkness. Railguns sent tungsten rounds at relativistic speeds. Lasers cut through the void. And the drones started dying. "Impossible," Nari whispered. "They are killing the drones." It was true. The humans were targeting the drones with surgical precision. They worked in groups, focusing fire on one drone at a time. When one fell, they moved to the next. Their tactics were simple but effective. Overwhelming force on single targets, but it came at a cost. A human frigate exploded as acid ate through its hull. A destroyer spun out of control, its engines destroyed by bone spikes. A converted cargo vessel simply vanished in a flash of light. And still they pressed forward. A human pilot named Jiho led a squadron of fighters through the drone swarm. Taeho watched his craft dance between attacks, moving with skill that impressed even the Vorakan captain. Jiho's voice came through the communications, calm and focused. "Red Squadron, form up on me. We are clearing a path for the capital ships. Watch your spacing and keep moving. Stop moving, you die. His squadron followed him through hell. They lost 3 fighters in as many minutes. The survivors kept flying. The human fleet pushed through the drone swarm and reached the Titan itself. Now came the real test. Every weapon Earth had built, every innovation their desperate scientists had created, all of it unleashed at once. Nuclear missiles detonated against the Titan's defensive field. The explosions were massive, bright enough to light up the darkness. The field absorbed them. Every single one railguns fired. Solid tungsten penetrators moving at a fraction of light speed. The field deflected them, lasers struck. Particle beams. Plasma torpedoes. Chemical explosives. Kinetic impactors. Everything humanity had learned about killing, all of it thrown at this one creature. The Titan's defensive field held. And then the Titan struck back. Organic cannons along its body fired. They launched projectiles the size of houses at speeds that should have been impossible for biological weapons. The first salvo destroyed 6 human ships. The second salvo took out 9 more. They did not explode. They simply ceased to exist, torn apart by the kinetic force. They have lost 20% of their fleet in 5 minutes, Nari reported. Her voice was hollow. Captain, they are being slaughtered. Taiho wanted to look away. He could not. Something about the way the humans fought held his attention. They were dying, yes, but they were not breaking. Not scattering. Not running. Ships that lost weapons moved to provide cover for ships that still had them. Damaged vessels drew enemy fire away from healthy ones. When a capital ship fell, the smaller ships moved in to fill the gap. They fought like a body, not like individual ships. One organism with many parts all working together. This is Hyun to all vessels. Pattern Delta, execute now. The human fleet suddenly changed formation. They stopped trying to attack the Titan directly. Instead, they focused all fire on a single point on the defensive field. The same spot. Every weapon. Every ship. The field began to flicker. Madness, Taiho muttered. They cannot break through. But the humans kept firing. Kept hammering at that one point. Ships moved into suicide positions to get better angles. A human cruiser named Mercy took multiple hits from the Titan just to stay in position for its railguns to keep firing. And then something happened that Taiho had never seen in any report, any study, any historical record. The Titan's defensive field developed a crack. It was small. It lasted only a fraction of a second, but it was there. In that instant, something changed. Taiho saw it on his sensors but could not believe it. A single human fighter broke from formation. The pilot was Jiho, the one Taiho had been watching. His craft was damaged. Smoke trailed from one engine. His weapons were nearly depleted, and he was accelerating directly toward the Titan. Jiho, pull back, Hyun's voice commanded. That is an order. Negative, Commander, Jiho replied. His voice was steady. My controls are damaged. I cannot pull back. But my weapons still work, and I am already committed. A pause. Then Hyun spoke again, softer this time. Understood. Thank you for your service, Lieutenant. Honor to serve, sir. Tell my sister I love her. Taiho watched as Jiho's fighter accelerated faster, emergency thrusters burning their fuel in one final push. Other human ships began chanting over the communications. Jiho, Jiho, Jiho. The name became a rhythm. A prayer. A promise. The Titan's weapons tracked the fighter, fired, missed. The small craft was too fast, too maneuverable. Jiho dodged through the barrage with skill born of desperation and determination. Nari was standing now, her hands pressed against the view screen. He is going to reach it, she whispered. By all the stars, he's going to reach it. Jiho's fighter struck the Titan's defensive field at full speed. His entire payload detonated at point-blank range. The explosion was massive, a miniature sun blossoming in the darkness. For 1 microsecond, the field failed completely, and in that microsecond, Earth's ground-based rail cannons fired. The weapons had been waiting, charged and ready, aimed at precisely calculated points. 20 tungsten penetrators, each one weighing 50 tons, all of them launched in perfect synchronization. They passed through the gap in the field. They struck the Titan's armor, and for the first time in recorded galactic history, a Titan bled. Black ichor sprayed from the wounds. The Titan made a sound. Not a roar. Something worse. A vibration that traveled through space itself, felt rather than heard. A sound of pain and surprise. The human fleet erupted in celebration. voices screaming over the communications, ships firing wildly in triumph, but Taiho was not celebrating. He was staring at his sensors in disbelief. "Nari," he said quietly, "tell me I am reading this wrong." She checked her own sensors. Her face went pale. "The Titan is not retreating." "No," Taiho said. "It is not." The wounded Titan turned its full attention to Earth and it began to move faster. The humans had done the impossible. They had heard it, and now they had made it angry. The battle was not over. It was just beginning. The battle continued for 6 more hours. 6 hours that felt like 6 years. Taiho watched as the human fleet was systematically destroyed. The Titan was no longer treating them as insignificant. It was hunting them. Its weapons tracked human ships with terrible precision. Its drone creatures swarmed with renewed fury. The creature had been hurt and it wanted revenge, but the humans did not stop. They could not stop. Earth was behind them, and there was nowhere to run. A human carrier called the Dauntless took a direct hit. The ship broke in half. Taiho expected the crew to abandon ship. Instead, the front section continued firing its weapons while the rear section used its dying engines to ram a cluster of drones. Both pieces of the ship killed enemies before they went dark. "They are not trying to survive," Nari said. She was no longer just observing. She was feeling. "They are trying to win, even if it kills them." Taiho understood now. This was not a battle by Vorican standards. Voricans fought to win with minimal losses. They valued their lives. They preserved their forces. That was intelligent warfare. Humans were fighting a different kind of war. They were fighting with everything they had, spending lives like ammunition because the alternative was worse than death. The alternative was losing Earth. Commander Hyun's flagship, the Resolute, was burning. Half its hull was melted. Its shield generators were offline. But Hyun was still commanding, still coordinating, still fighting. His voice came through the communications, hoarse but unbroken. "All remaining vessels, this is Hyun. We have heard it. We can hurt it again. Focus fire on the wounds. Make them deeper. Make them count." The human ships rallied. Taiho counted 73 vessels remaining from the original 200. 73 ships against an angry god, and they charged forward. A freighter captain named Sora commanded a converted cargo vessel. Her ship had no proper weapons, just mining lasers and improvised missile racks. When her engines were destroyed, she used emergency thrusters to maneuver. When those failed, she used compressed air from the life support system. She kept her ship moving, kept it fighting, using every trick she knew. "This is Sora to any vessel near Sector 7, she called out. "My weapons are dead, but I still have thrusters. I am going to clear those drones." "Someone better take advantage of it." "Sora, negative," Hyun responded. "You have no weapons. Pull back." "With respect, Commander, shut up," Sora said. There was laughter in her voice. Actual laughter. "I did not haul cargo for 20 years to die in my bed. Might as well make it count." Her ship accelerated toward a cluster of drones. Taiho realized what she was doing. She was using her ship as a battering ram. The drones tried to scatter, but she adjusted her course, compensating with thrusters that should not have had enough power. She struck 3 drones at once. Her ship exploded. The drones died with her, and through the gap she created a squadron of human fighters flew, their missiles striking the Titan's wounds. Taiho's hands were shaking. Nari was openly weeping now, not bothering to hide it. They were watching courage on a scale they had never imagined. On Earth's surface, the scientist Doyen was still working. His team had not stopped. While the fleet died above, they calculated and tested and designed. They had created something. A weapon theoretical, untested, possibly useless, but it was all they had. "Commander Hyun," Doyen's transmission came through. "We have a weapon. It is based on the data from every hit we have scored on the Titan. If we can deliver it to the creature's core, it might be enough to kill it." "Might be?" Hyun asked. "Sir, I am a scientist, not a fortune teller. The theory is sound, but it requires someone to fly into the Titan's body through the wounds we have created and detonate the weapon at its core. The pilot will not survive." Silence on the communications. Then multiple voices spoke at once. "I will do it. Let me go. My ship is already damaged. Send me." Dozens of pilots volunteered. Dozens of humans willing to die for one chance to save their world. Taiho felt something break inside him. Not his body. His understanding. His belief that the Voricans were the best because they were the strongest. These humans were not strong. They were something more terrifying. They were committed. "Bora," Hyun said quietly.
You are closest to the wound.
And your ship has the right profile to fit through. Pilot Bora had been one of Jiho's wingmates. She had survived the battle so far through skill and luck. Her fighter was damaged but functional. When Hyun spoke her name, she did not hesitate. Understood, Commander. Transferring my navigation data to all ships. If I miss, someone else will have to try. You will not miss, Hyun said. His voice carried absolute confidence.
Fly well, Lieutenant. See you on the other side, sir.
Wherever that is. The human fleet created one more opening. They focused all remaining firepower on the Titan's largest wound, the one created by Jiho's sacrifice. Ships moved into suicidal positions to draw the Titan's attention away from Bora. A destroyer called the Defiant actually rammed the Titan, its entire crew dying to keep the creature distracted for 5 seconds. 5 seconds was enough. Bora's fighter dove toward the wound. The Titan's internal defenses activated, biological antibodies, living weapons inside the creature's body. They swarmed toward her ship. Acid burned through her hull. Projectiles punched holes in her armor. Taiho watched the fighter's systems failing one by one. Weapons offline, shields gone, life support failing, but the engine still worked. And that was all Bora needed. Her voice came through, speaking to no one and everyone. Mom, Dad, if you are listening, I love you. Tell my brother he owes me money. Jiho, I am coming to find you. Save me a beer and whatever comes next. Her ship penetrated deeper into the Titan's body, closer to the core. The creature thrashed, trying to expel her, trying to kill her. But momentum carried her forward. Physics did not care about alien gods. She reached the core. Taiho's sensors showed it clearly. A massive organ pulsing with energy, keeping the Titan alive. This is Bora. I am at the core. The weapon is armed. It has been an honor serving with all of you. Tell Earth that we tried. Tell them we stood. We will tell them you succeeded, Hyun said. Fire when ready. Already done, sir. Detonation in 3, 2, 1. The explosion happened inside the Titan, not on the surface, but at its heart. Doyen's weapon was designed to disrupt the creature's energy field at a quantum level. It unraveled the bonds that held the Titan together. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the Titan stopped moving. It simply froze in space, and then it began to die. The creature's armor cracked. Energy bled from the wounds. The defensive field collapsed. The drones fell dormant, their connection to the hive mind severed. The massive body that had seemed invincible began to come apart. The Titan was dying, and Earth was still there, damaged, scarred, but still there. The human fleet, what remained of it, was silent. No celebration, no cheering. They had won, but the price was written in the debris field around them. 2/3 of their fleet gone. Tens of thousands dead. Taiho sat in his command chair and tried to find words. There were none. The Vorikons had rules about warfare, strategies, calculations. Everything they did was measured, logical, designed to minimize loss. Humans had no such rules. They had simply decided that Earth was worth everything, and then they gave everything, Captain. Nari whispered. What did we just witness? Taiho watched the Titan's death throes through his view screen. He watched the human ships slowly moving back toward their home, carrying their dead, bearing their scars. We witnessed, he said slowly, something the Vorikons have never had to do. We witnessed a species with no advantages, no special abilities, no superior technology, accomplish the impossible through nothing but refusal to quit. He stood up. His legs felt weak. Nari, prepare a full report to the High Command. Include everything. Every detail. Every casualty. Every sacrifice. What will you tell them? She asked. Taiho looked at Earth, that small blue planet that had just punched a god in the face and won. I will tell them, he said, that we need to redefine what it means to be the best. It took 4 more hours for the Titan to fully die. Its massive body drifted in space, breaking apart slowly. Pieces of it fell toward Earth's moon. Others spun out into the void. The creature that had seemed eternal was now just debris. Taiho watched as the human fleet limped home. 73 ships had survived, many of them barely functional. The Resolute, Commander Hyun's flagship, was held together by emergency force fields and determination. Ships with dead engines were towed by ships with working ones. No one was left behind, Captain, Nari said softly. We should return to Vorikon space. Our mission here is complete. But Taiho shook his head. No, not yet. I need to see this through. He contacted Earth Orbital Station Alpha, the same station where he had first met Commander Yun, back when he thought humans were just another unremarkable species. That meeting felt like it had happened years ago, not days. Vorican vessel, this is Station Alpha. A tired voice responded. How can we help you? I wish to speak with Commander Hyun, Taiho said. There was a pause. The commander is currently in medical. His ship suffered significant damage, but I will relay your message. An hour later, Hyun's face appeared on the screen. He was in a medical facility, that much was clear. His uniform was gone, replaced by simple clothes. Bandages covered his left arm. His face was pale, marked with exhaustion, but his eyes were still clear. Captain Taiho, Hyun said, thank you for staying. I know your people recommend evacuation when facing Titans. You proved that recommendation wrong, Taiho said quietly. Commander, I need to ask you something. Why did you do it? You knew the odds. You knew most of your people would die. Why not save who you could? Hyun was silent for a long moment. Then he smiled. That same calm smile Taiho had seen on the first day, but now Taiho understood it. It was not arrogance or ignorance. It was acceptance. Captain, let me ask you something, Hyun said. If the Vorican homeworld faced extinction, and you had to choose between running away to survive or staying to fight even if you would probably lose, what would you choose? Taiho opened his mouth to answer, then stopped. He realized he did not know. The Voricans had never faced that choice. They had always had somewhere to run, some backup plan, some logical alternative. I do not know, Taiho admitted. That is the difference between us, Hyun said gently. We did not have the luxury of not knowing. We had to choose, and we chose to stand. Because running would mean becoming a species of refugees, always looking back at the home we abandoned, always wondering if we could have done more. That is not a future worth having. Many of your people died, Taiho said. Yes, Hyun said. His voice carried pain. 27,000. Each one was someone's child, someone's parent, someone's friend. I will carry their names for the rest of my life. And it was worth it? Taiho had to ask. Hyun looked directly at the camera. Earth still exists. Humanity still has a home. Their deaths saved billions. So yes, Captain, it was worth it. That does not make it hurt less. But it was worth it. Taiho ended the transmission. He sat in silence, thinking about everything he had witnessed. Then he began writing his report. He wrote for hours. Detailed everything. The battle. The tactics. The casualties. The victory. He included sensor data, communication logs, video recordings, everything the Vorican High Command would need to understand what had happened. But the hard part was the conclusion. What did this mean for the galactic hierarchy? Where did humans belong? Taiho wrote and rewrote his final recommendations 5 times. Finally, he settled on the truth. The Vorican Empire has long held that we are the apex species of the galaxy. We base this belief on our military strength, our technological advancement, our tactical superiority. By these measures, we remain the most capable species known to exist. However, this battle has revealed a measurement we never considered. The ability to face extinction and choose to fight anyway. The ability to spend lives without hesitation when the stakes are high enough. The ability to look at impossible odds and say no. By this measurement, humanity surpasses us. The Voricans are strong because we survive. We are wise because we calculate risk. We are successful because we preserve our forces and fight only when victory is probable. Humans survived not because they calculated risk, but because they ignored it. They won not because victory was probable, but because defeat was unacceptable. They showed us that sometimes the only way to win is to be willing to lose everything. I cannot rank humanity in our traditional hierarchy. They do not fit. They are not the strongest or the smartest or the most advanced, but they possess something that transcends all other measurements. They possess the will to stand when standing seems pointless. They possess the courage to fight when fighting seems hopeless. They possess the determination to pay any price for what they value. The Voricans call ourselves the apex species. But we had never faced a Titan and won. Humanity faced one and killed it. With inferior technology, with weaker ships, with shorter lifespans and fragile bodies, they won with nothing but determination and sacrifice. I recommend we create a new classification, one that sits above all others, not because of strength or intelligence, but because of will. I recommend we call it the unyielding tier. and I recommend that humanity be its first and only member. We called ourselves top, but we were measuring the wrong things. Humanity has shown us what it truly means to be the best. It means never giving up, never surrendering, never accepting defeat. They called themselves nothing special. They claimed no superiority. They simply stood and fought because it was the only choice they could live with, and in doing so, they surpassed us all. Tejo finished his report and sent it to Voricon High Command. Then he sat back and looked at Earth through his view screen. The planet was still there, still blue, still beautiful, still home to billions of humans who had no idea how remarkable they were. "Captain," Nari said, "do you think the High Command will accept your recommendation?" "I do not know," Tejo admitted. "The Voricans are proud. Admitting that another species surpasses us even in one measure will be difficult. But they did surpass us," Nari said. "I watched it happen. I watched humans do what we never could." Tejo nodded. "Yes, they did." A transmission came from Earth. It was a general broadcast to all ships in the system. Tejo accepted it. A young human woman appeared on the screen. She looked tired but happy. Her name tag read Yuna, the engineer Tejo had met on his first day. The one who had said that not working hard was unacceptable. "This is Earth Defense Command," Yuna said. "The Titan is confirmed dead. All remaining threats have been neutralized. Earth is secure. To all ships that fought today, to all people who stood with us, thank you. We could not have done this without you." She paused, then smiled. That distinctly human smile that Tejo now understood meant so much more than happiness. "And to the Vorican vessel currently in high orbit, thank you for staying. Thank you for witnessing. Tell your people what you saw here. Tell them that when the galaxy said it could not be done, humans said we will do it anyway. Tell them that Earth stands." The transmission ended. Tejo looked at Nari. "Set course for home. We have much to report." As his ship turned away from Earth, Tejo took one last look at the planet. He thought about Commander Hyun and Lieutenant Bora, and Captain Sora and all the others who had fought. He thought about the 27,000 who had died. He thought about what it meant to be willing to pay that price. The Voricans were strong, but humans were something more. They were unyielding. And perhaps, Tejo thought, that was the only strength that truly mattered. 6 months later, the Vorican High Command officially accepted Tejo's report. They created the unyielding tier. They placed humanity within it. And they sent a message to Earth. The message was simple. We called ourselves the best. You showed us we were wrong. Welcome to the galaxy. Welcome to the top. Commander Hyun received the message. He read it and he smiled. Then he went back to work rebuilding Earth's fleet. Because humans did not fight to prove they were the best. They fought because it needed to be done. And that, more than any ranking or title, was what made them truly remarkable.